runs our South African office of the Black Business School. We have an office in South Africa, by the way, and we're going to be fully functional in about a month and a half or so. So if you live in South Africa, in Johannesburg in particular, we will have a Black Business School office in Johannesburg. But anyway, with that said, one of the things Noma Langa talks about is she says, I don't understand why African Americans don't realize that, as who says this, as Joe Ron is saying, marriage is a business. Family is a business. Most wealth comes from family. Anybody ever heard of, I don't know, the Rothschilds? Yeah, sure, they're a business, but they're a family, right? Anybody heard of the Rockefellers? That's a family, which is also a business. You follow me? Anybody, I don't know, Mr. Sean Carter, Jay-Z and Beyonce. They're a family, but they're a business. So here's the deal. The reason we did when we did the film, The Black Love Blueprint, the reason I really wanted to strongly develop a film franchise, we're actually shooting films in LA and Atlanta. We got a lot of projects going on. I'll tell you guys more about it later. As I said, Black folks don't understand that the reason your wealth does not grow is because every generation you're starting over because you can't keep your relationships together, or you're picking the wrong relationships, or you're picking a woman because she got a big booty, or you're picking a man because he got swag and not thinking about what kind of economic swag he has, what kind of empire building swag he has, right? So ultimately, it's all connected. And so I will just tell you, ladies, when you have ladies that are down to business that are like, look, don't waste my time. My clock is ticking. I'm 32 years old. I want to have a baby. Guys get mad about that. Guys like, oh, why don't you chill? Why don't you just No, don't let him waste your time, because there's an imbalance. There's a real life disproportion there that favors men, where men can fuck around till they're 70 and then start having kids when they're 70 years old. When I was in Ghana, I met a guy that had done that. He had like 20 kids after he was 60 years old. Women can't do the same thing in that way. Now, they won't talk about it, but it's true. Now, I know Cameron Diaz just had a baby at 47 years old, but most doctors don't recommend trying to do that. Okay. So ultimately, when ladies are serious about not wasting their time, there's a reason, there's a logical reason for that. And so ultimately, so I will just tell you this is going to save you a lot of time. If you meet a man over the age of 35 who's never been married, there's usually a reason why. It doesn't mean it's a bad reason, though. It doesn't mean he's a bad person. It just means you got to figure out what the reason is. And once you figure out what the reason is, then you got to figure out if you have reason to believe that you're working around that. So, for example, I'll use myself as an example. Here we go. I didn't get married. I'm getting married in July 11th, 2020 in Chicago, Southside Chicago. Everybody's invited. I'm going to put up a link. Y'all can RSVP. You just got to RSVP. And here's the deal. You would have good reason to ask me, like, well, Boyce, you're 48 years old. Why are you getting married at 48 and not 28? Well, that's because when I was 28, I was working on my PhD. So I was studying 10 hours a day. No joke, 8 to 10 hours a day I was studying. I didn't want the distraction of a wife and kids at that time. Then years later, when I was leaving Syracuse University, I was starting my business. I did get close to getting married. I got engaged to a wonderful woman that I'll never speak ill about, who I actually proposed to her on the Wendy Williams show. I never talked about it, but it did happen back in 2007. And it just didn't work out for reasons that I won't talk about. And, but then even then, I still, felt like, well, maybe marriage is for me, maybe not. But I said, maybe I want to get married in my 40s. I don't want to get married in my 30s. And here's the deal. And this is also advice for the men as well, for everybody. Don't let anybody pressure you into anything. Like, you live your fucking life. Like, seriously, live your damn life. You're going to have people in your ear all the time telling you to change this and change that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. There are no rules in terms of how you choose to live your life. So I made a conscious choice to say, when I get married, it's going to be a Black woman. That was one fact. One thing I said, if I ever get married, which I will at some point, I'm going to marry a Black woman. Like, I don't believe that stuff about like, oh, well, you can't control who you fall in love with. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I will never be in love with Becky. I won't allow it to happen. It was not going to occur. Right. But then the second thing was, I felt that, my life was good. And I said, I'm not going to get married just to get married. I'm going to get married to somebody who I feel is going to make my life better. I married Alicia, or agreed to marry Alicia, or asked for her hand in marriage. How about that? because I felt that me married to her would make my life better. So make your plan and be, real with yourself, but also be real in terms of what you're actually seeing. I see a lot of women that end up losing valuable time because there are men that aren't necessarily trying to harm you. They're not trying to use you up all the time. Some men are bad, right? We know this. There are bad men out there. But a lot of times it's because, you're 32, he's 35. He's got a little bit more, he's got more time than you because he can flip around at 45, 50 years old and get married. And it might be a little bit tougher for you because the ecosystem is different for men than it is for women, right? This is the landscape. This is the game you're playing. I'm not here to lie to you. I'm not here to be politically correct. I'm here to be correct. I'm here to be correct, not politically correct. I don't care about being politically correct. All right. So